The Grade Setup wizard takes you through a list of setup options that you should set before you create grade items and grade categories. To begin, access the grades heading on your nav bar. So go to the Progress tab and select Grades. The first time you enter the Grades area, it will default to the Setup wizard. Once you have completed the wizard, you can still return to it by selecting the Setup Wizard tab. Click Start to begin the Setup Wizard. Step 1. Choose a grading system. The grading system determines how the grade items in your gradebook contribute to users' final grades. Here you must choose what type of grading system you would like to use. Weighted is where grade items and categories are calculated as a percentage of a final grade worth 100%. The max points assigned to individual grade items can be any value, but contribution towards the final grade is always their assigned percentage value. Points is where grade items are calculated using a point system, in which the points assigned to each grade item are totaled for the final grade. Formula is where grade items are calculated using the point system, but a formula is used to set conditions around how grade items contribute to the final grade. It is important to keep your gradebook simple so students can see how they're doing in the class. Most instructors choose a weighted grading for their scheme. For this example, we will choose the weighted system. The weighted system calculates grade items as a percentage of the final grade worth 100%. So weighted is already selected, then press continue. Step 2. Final grade released. The type of final grade to release determines whether an adjusted final grade is released to users. The most common choice is a calculated final grade option. This gives you the final grade calculated by the gradebook. However, choosing adjusted final grades gives you the opportunity to modify or adjust a final grade. For the purpose of this scenario, we will select calculated final grade. Press continue. Step 3 is grade calculations. The grade calculation step provides additional choices for calculating users' grades. Specifically, it lets you decide how you want to calculate ungraded items and whether you want to keep users' final grades up to date automatically. By choosing drop ungraded items, grade items that you have not entered grades for are not counted towards users' final grades. They are ignored in the final grade calculation. Select this option if you plan to make user grades available to them before the end of the course. By choosing to treat ungraded items as 0, grade items that you have not entered grades for count as 0 towards users' final grades. Select this option if you leave grade items blank because no work was submitted and you don't want to manually change the grades to 0. Note, if you could add new items to the gradebook later, users receive a 0 until you update their score. If you choose to select the auto update box, final grades are automatically adjusted after changing a grade item or a calculation option. If you do not select this option, you must tell the gradebook when to recalculate final grades. For the purpose of this scenario, I am going to select drop ungraded items and keep auto update checked. Then press continue. Step 4. Choose a default grade scheme. Grade schemes define how grades are organized or labeled within a course or for a particular grade item. For the purpose of this scenario, I am selecting undergraduate letter. Then press continue. Step 5. Managing view display options. Here you can set the number of decimal places you want to see for items in your gradebook. The default value is 2 and the maximum value you can have is 5. Note, this option only changes how many decimals are displayed. It does not control how many decimals the grades tool rounds to when calculating grades. The calculation logic is set by your organization's site administrator. For the purpose of this scenario, I am going to leave it at 2 and press continue. Step 6. Students view display options. This step controls how grades appear to users. You can set whether they see their grades as straight values, percentages, or scheme levels, and whether they can see the calculation method, the logic behind their final grade. The points grade option releases the points grade to a user and shows them the value a grade item was marked out of their score, for example 6 out of 10. The grade scheme symbol option shows them the scheme level they received on a grade item, example good. The grade scheme color shows the user the color associated with the scheme level they received, example red or green. Displaying the final grade calculation to users allows them to view how their final grade was calculated. They can see which grade items contributed to their final and how much which grade items were bonus grades and whether their grade was adjusted. Note, this option is only available in the weighted and point grading systems. For the purpose of this example, I'm just going to select the points, weighted and grade scheme symbol and then press continue. Step 7. Grade Setup Summary. The final step summarizes the choices you have made while setting up your gradebook. If you change your mind on any of the choices, click the Go Back to return to the setup and adjust it. Then press Finish if you are happy. The Grade Setup Wizard is a great way to help you make decisions about how grades should be calculated and displayed in the gradebook.